Hello and welcome to the monthly Marquee. Our first guest today is Betty Marcy, president, retiring president?
I'm retired emeritus.
Emeritus.
Yes.
I long for the day when I'm an emeritus. President Emeritus of Youth Theater of Hardin County. And you'll see we're in a different location than normal for our broadcast. We're actually in the dressing rooms here at the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center, where Betty is working on costumes for Youth Theater's 50th production, Disney's Little Mermaid. And you might even see some fishtails and eel skins, and then pretty coats for gentlemen and stuff. How has this show been to put together compared to shows you've done in the past?
Well, I think it's about the same. We have 45 that are in the cast, but most of them have 3 or 4 costumes, which lots of times it's not quite that many. But we're trying to make it work.
It's funny because you think about it being a cast of 45, but really you've got to triple that number when you're thinking about costumes. Exactly.
Right.
Well, and that brings up, you have done costumes for many years with youth theater. How did you and your husband Bill get involved in youth theater? Through Cindy?
Through Cindy. There were 2 shows before Bill and I joined. There were community members who had been in 4-H club. I had been in 4-H club. I had worked with a group of young people. And 4-H did, club acts plus talent shows. Mm-hmm. And I think that there were several that got forming this. They were leaders also. So they, Olivia Shaheen, Eileen Wilmot, Mildred Corbett, and then Charles Logston got involved also. They formed this Youth Theater of Hardin County. They saw that young people really enjoyed theater and things like that. So they started it all, got the Constitution going and the bylaws, and after 2 years, it was first probably pretty rough 2 years.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Making it up as you go along.
But they could say that the kids that had joined really were enjoying it and wanted to do it. So they wanted to keep it going, but they didn't want to be the ones in charge.
Gotcha.
So
they wanted to support it, not run it.
Bill and I had come in and helped with the 3rd show. And so we were joining them when they had their last meeting. And they said, would you all be interested in doing this? So Bill looked at me and he says, you know, this is really nice. This is really something I'd like to do. How about you? And I said, yep, I think we can do it together.
Now, did either you or Bill have like an interest or past history in theater or anything? I know Bill was a builder. I mean, he built your home. He was an architect and stuff.
Well, amateur.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We all are on some level.
Yeah. No, I think Bill had been in like a few little shows, you know, at school.
Like the senior play kind of thing?
Yeah, and even a minstrel one.
Oh, wow.
They don't do those anymore.
No.
And I had been in a couple of shows I went to the St. James Catholic High School, so I'd been in a couple of shows there. And, but not really. My mother very much was involved. She was a poet more than anything. She enjoyed poetry and did contests with poetry and so forth. So she was the one that really probably was excited about us doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever met her. I wonder. So she got to see Cindy perform then.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's incredible. And David.
Yeah.
David was a little bit more behind the scenes, really.
David was in Finian's Rainbow. He was Finian.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
So, and he is an artist. So he has done sets and painted backdrops and that type of things, and still works with theater. So yeah, the whole family's been involved, really.
Well, and at some point, Cindy and David both got through their time in youth theater and moved on to college and raising families and so forth. But here were you and Bill still hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
Still rolling that ball up the hill.
We still loved it. Plus, we had good directors, good staff people, because we weren't that, familiar with what all should be going on.
Sure.
And so it all came together where it just felt like the good Lord wanted us to do this. So we just kept doing it.
Well, and my time is with youth theater when I was a kid was kind of as Cindy and David were finishing up, and it just never occurred to me that you and Bill wouldn't be there, helping make everything happen. And I don't know if you felt like you adopted us, but I feel like we adopted you two into our families, and we're a big part of growing up. It's just amazing that people just don't stick around like you and Bill did for this.
Well, that's probably true, but I love teenagers. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, you got to talk. Tell me, why do you love teenagers? Because that's not a sentiment you hear just tripping off the tongue lately.
Well, I don't know, but they're open with us, and they say they enjoy this. So I guess it's because I get the ones that enjoy it so much that it makes it really fun.
I've always felt that it was not only a great thing to do, but youth theater, I think, I can only speak for myself and a couple of friends who I was in youth theater with at the time, I think it kept us out of trouble.
Well, I've had some parents tell me that. Yeah.
Gave us something to do with all that summertime.
Well, and last year they had a reunion, some of the kids, 10 years that they were in. And they had a little reunion because they had heard one of their members
was ill.
Right. And she requested that she get to see everybody. And I went to that, and it was emotional.
It was really,
getting goosebumps.
I know, it
was,
it was really special. Yeah.
So they loved each other that much that it's such a good community for them to get together and enjoy each other.
That support system that you build, camaraderie to get that show up at the end of the summer. There's something about that was still there.
Yeah.
All these years later.
Yeah.
To help get through things.
Right.
Yeah. And it's, unless you've experienced it or been part of some team effort like that, I think that's really hard to express.
Yeah, I guess they do it in athletics too, in sports. But you need something besides sports for kids that don't do sports, but they've really got another talent.
And back then there weren't a lot of academic teams.
Yeah.
So it was a team thing that we could do if we were, like me, less physically inclined.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Well,
and you were good at it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It paved the way for me. I paved the way for a lot of people, not only people like me or Darren West, or David, who went into the arts, but how many doctors, how many lawyers have been youth theater, and that experience has helped them get ahead in their professions. Do you have any special memories over the last 50 years?
I got lots of memories. And as I'm getting older and, losing some of my memories, it just kills me because I want to remember them. But yes, definitely have a lot of memories. And mainly young people also have a lot of good memories about the directors that we had. Not only directing the shows, but musical directors. And Carol Zagar, I have got to mention, because she's been with us over 25 years, and man, has she ever helped the shows be better quality. So I've got to mention her.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll always remember her.
And it's, sorry, I start to, when I think about Carol and I think about the people that I worked with, because Carol came in after me, but I got to work with Andy.
Yes.
I was there for Andy's first year. And back then I would never have guessed that, first of all, he wasn't married yet, didn't have kids. And you think about all of that lineage that's happened. What are some of your favorite memories of youth theater?
Well, I think when we got to come to PAC, I never will forget that. I just had tears in my eyes and still do when Peter Pan flew in. And here we'd been on stages where we had to build the platforms and
people don't know. People held together with coat hangers bent around legs so they wouldn't move.
Had kids going underneath these things to tie those up together. Plus dressing rooms. You know, we had to block off dressing rooms to
turn a classroom into a dressing room instead of this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, I think that's the greatest memory of all.
Well, and one of the things that, we take things for granted. We take you for granted sometimes, but we take this facility for granted. It's 20 years now with us. But youth theater was instrumental in making this happen. Do you recall that process and talking to the school board?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Now I know Bill did most
It was
of that.
Bill, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Andy Zagar.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're very much instrumental in that.
My understanding is from what I've heard, second and third party, is Andy and Bill went to talk to the board and said, we're serving your kids, and we need some place to serve them. They deserve a stage as much as a football team deserves a field, as much as a basketball team deserves a gym. They need a quality space to do what they do. And the board agreed. Isn't that crazy? Who would have ever thought? It had a lot to do with the timing and things that were happening in Kentucky education at the time, and people like Lois Gray and
Lois.
Dr. Bill Kelly, who got it. They got it, and it's really a testament to everything you had done with youth theater before we came, to the scene. Yeah. I know that this is going to air right as Little Mermaid is finishing up their run. Is there anything you'd like to share about youth theater in general, or with parents about how they might get involved, or their students might get involved in youth theater coming down the road?
Oh, well, yeah. We are always looking for kids that really are interested in theater and maybe have a talent in singing and dancing. If they don't, we help them out with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've had several say, well, I don't dance, But Mary Stewart Peace is one I remember that never had a dance lesson in her life. And she came here and she danced, and she's still dancing. She's still in theater in, I think, Clarksville, Indiana or somewhere. And so she never had a dance lesson, and she's still dancing.
Oh my gosh.
Professional, yeah. So, we help them learn that stuff. So, they really want to do it.
Well, Betty, I on behalf of everybody who's been through youth theater, we love you.
Oh well, thank you, Bart.
and we owe so much to everything that you and Bill have done to keep this going.
All I can say, it's been a joy.
Absolutely. Thank you. We want to thank Betty Marquee for her time at the PAC backstage as she prepares for Youth Theater's production of Disney's Little Mermaid this summer. And my next guest is also our PAC Student Spotlight for the month, Miss Sally Poland. Sally, how are you doing today?
Good.
And you are also part of Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you're involved with the show this summer.
Okay, I'm Alana, which is one of Ariel's sisters, and I'm also the offstage voice of Ariel.
So how many sisters does she have?
She has 6, I think.
And
yes.
what are all their names?
Aquata, Atina, Arista, Andrina, Adela, and Alana. I think I got them all.
That would be the most difficult question I ask you today.
I think I got them all.
Now, I think some of our audience is obviously going to be familiar with the Disney cartoon Little Mermaid, but the Mer sisters in this Broadway production that you guys are doing, their roles have kind of been expanded. How do they differ from what people have seen in the cartoon?
The sisters have more lines. They have, they have a lot more dialogue. They have their own song called She's in Love, which they also have an extended version of Daughters of Triton, which is the song that they have in the movie. They have like their own like personalities, which you don't really get to see in the movie. So. And
what's your character's personality like?
I haven't really figured it out yet, but
really? Oh wow!
It'll be a surprise.
So it's like however it hits you that day.
Yes.
That's what you do. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit of improv in the middle of everything. How has your experience been this summer?
It's been really fun.
Now, this is your third summer with youth theater. How did you get involved with youth theater?
I honestly don't remember. I remember just a few years ago telling my mom that I wanted to do theater, and she signed me up for youth theater, and then I've just been doing it for the past 3 years, I think.
And I mean, that's a big chunk of your summer given up to youth theater. Why do you come back every year?
It's really fun, and I think it's worth it.
Why? Why is it worth it?
I make a lot of friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And friends from different schools.
Yeah.
That you will. I had friends when I was in youth theater that I didn't see except for youth theater. Mm-hmm. It was a big part of my growing up as well. If people have never seen a youth theater production, what would you say to encourage them to? What's unique about youth theater? Why should people come out and see this production of Little Mermaid?
I like that it's very unique. It's very different from the movie, but it's also the same, if that makes sense.
Unique and familiar at the same time. Yeah, yeah. And you're getting ready to go into your senior year at Central Hardin, and I know you're very involved with the drama department there that Miss Dakin does. What have been some of the things that we might have seen you on stage in with Central Hardin or youth theater?
So for Central Hardin Drama Club, I have been in Little Women, the Laramie Project, the Orphan Train, and Schoolhouse Rock.
Cool. And youth theater?
Hello Dolly, the Addams Family, and The Little Mermaid.
And what would you say to encourage other students to get involved in performing either at their school or with youth theater?
I just think it's really worth it. Like, a lot of people think that it's a waste of time and it's not worth it just because it takes up so much of your summer and it's a lot of dedication. But for me, it's just really worth it because of the friendships I've made from it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Speaking as someone who's on the other side, over the hill, I still have friends from youth theater when I was your age, and they've been with me my entire life. It's been really, really cool. Once again, when are the dates for Little Mermaid this summer?
July 8th through 17th.
Excellent. And you can get tickets for the show at thepack.net, and we want to encourage people to go out and do that and come and support youth theater in its 50th year. That's crazy. That's almost as old as I am. Thank you so much, Sally. Next up on the Monthly Marquee, I want to welcome Sarah Vaughn with the Historic State Theater. Sarah, it's been a while.
It has.
You had delegated responsibility for doing this to one of your staff, and we really enjoyed her, but it's glad to have you back again.
Thank you. I am so glad to be back. She had a blast. I think she was a little sad today when I decided to go instead of her, but no, she... yes, we have a wonderful staff over there, and lots happening. We are super busy, which is great. We were just talking about, we have pre-pandemic busy, we have pandemic busy, and then we have after-pandemic busy.
Yes, yeah.
They mean three very different things, don't they? So August is going to be a great busy time at the theater. We have several, of course, we do private rentals, and so a lot of that is happening. But the public events where folks can buy tickets, August the 19th, we have a promoter bringing in an Elvis tribute.
Oh, cool.
And it's not just any Elvis tribute. It is the old Elvis and the, well, how do I say that better? It was the young Elvis and the older Elvis. Is that
There
more
are worse
appropriate?
ways to put it.
There are, yes, exactly. So we have Sean Clush and Cody Raceladder, and they are actually two of the best. They've been named through the Elvis family. I mean, you just go on and on and on. When before the contract was even signed, before we even for sure knew the show was going to be happening, I bet we had no less than about 75 phone calls. We heard they're coming. I mean, it is crazy town. They are so good. They put on one heck of a show. We actually had Cody Ray in last year. Sold out just
I
like
thought
that.
I recognized that name. Okay.
Yeah, they're in Vegas all the time. They're all over the nation, really. But yes, so they're coming in August the 19th. By the time people see this, the tickets will be sold out. But it's going to be amazing. So we're super excited. But try anyway. I always tell people there are always tickets.
We never
the day
say
of the
sold
show.
out. We never
Yes,
say those
I know,
words.
right?
Don't ever
I know,
say
that's true.
There's always one more seat
There
or a
really is.
cancellation.
Always.
You just never know.
You never know. I tell people, they're like, oh my gosh, no more tickets. I'm like, today. But day of, there will probably be a seat for you. So, and then right after that, on the next day, on August the 20th, we've got Henry Cho, comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was there last year. Just absolute hoot. Great guy. Awesome comedian. Very family friendly as well. So
Okay.
you don't have to worry about, inappropriate things. I'm sure there's a few here and there, but not as bad as some comedians. But he will be in on the next day on the 20th. And then on the 25th, it's a jam-packed week, we have Faithfully, which is a Journey tribute. It's not the same one we've had before. It's a different one.
Okay.
But one of the best things that we've seen at the State Theater since we, the city, have taken over the operations is that instead of having to create our own concerts and our own acts in the theater, we have promoters that want to rent it. And so that does several things. And when I say this to some people, they'll say, you're not booking your own concerts? What's wrong with that? A, I'm not using tax dollars to pay for something that may not work out.
Yeah.
B, we hit a much larger demographic because promoters are bringing in things from all over, whereas we, the city, tend to bring in country music acts because we know they'll sell. But that doesn't hit the larger demographic of Elizabethtown and of our region. So these promoters have brought in acts and just opened up this whole new thing. It doesn't matter who brings in these shows.
Right.
It matters what's coming in.
Yeah.
And they are doing that. So it's just been great that promoters really want to rent our theater. We love working with them and our staff, and you still get us in the ticket sales. You still get our staff running the concessions and the how to get you to your seat and all, ushering, all that good stuff the day of.
Yeah.
So, but it's just been great that folks want to bring new acts in and new things to the community that's never been here before.
And they keep coming back and offering you new things.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Some of them that have been great hit shows, they'll bring those back again. But yes, they keep bringing new things and things that are working. So it's been great. And then we're going to close out the month with, of course, the Heartland Homecoming Parade for the event side of things. So, of course, that's been going on over the 33rd, 34th? I don't know.
Did
COVID
you have
messed
to
it all
skip
up.
any of those during COVID?
I did, yeah. So now I'm all messed up on what year it is.
Sure.
Year one, no. But, of course, that's a great celebration in our community that day. And we changed the name to Homecoming Parade in 2016 because that's really what it is. We have all of the local high school bands. We have just everybody and anybody. About 80 entries will be in it, and thousands of people will line the streets. So that will kick off on the 27th, the last Saturday in August, 10 a.m. downtown. Travel north on Dixie, all the good old stuff.
Wonderful. And how can people find out about tickets and everything else?
So the easiest is etownevents.com. You can click on the State Theater logo to go through all the shows to buy tickets. And we have so many more others that are on sale, so they can check them out there too. If you want to go to the events festival side of things, that's at etownevents.com. If you just want to go straight to the theater, of course, you can hit up thestate270.org.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Bart.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap up another episode of the Monthly Marquee. We have a very busy summer going on across the district. We hope that you'll take advantage of Youth Theater Hardin County's performances of The Little Mermaid in their 50th year at the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center in July. Come out for auditions for the semi-professional productions that the PAC produces, Beauty and the Beast, and Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth, with auditions on July 11th and 12th. And you'll check out everything happening in Hardin County Playhouse with their upcoming production of Tom Sawyer. In the meantime, be watching for news from us about our PAC 2022-2023 season next month on the Monthly Marquee.
Contacts? The only famous guy we know is that weatherman from Channel 2 who made a pass at you at Arby's.
I am not calling him. Not again. Listen, we'll figure something out.